What if the very thing religion called sin was in truth sacred? What if the blood that has been shamed, hidden and silenced for centuries carries the prophecy of a forgotten lineage, the dragon bloodline? For too long, the feminine has been branded impure, while the world quietly starved from the absence of her fire. But the veil is tearing. The silenced voice is returning. This is not history. It is inheritance, and it is alive in you. In this journey, we will uncover the secrets of blood as sacrament, the forgotten queens who guarded its fire, and the prophecy that now awakens in our time. Stay until the end, for what you are about to hear may shift how you see your body, your lineage, and your place in the cosmos forever. For centuries, humanity has been told a story that painted woman as less, as fragile, as impure. The echo of that lie still lingers in churches, in classrooms, in the whispers of families. Women were branded with the weight of sin, while men were crowned with the illusion of purity. But what if this narrative was never truth, only a spell cast to break the spine of the sacred feminine? Every myth carries power, and this one carried chains. The blood of women, life-giving, cosmic, cyclical, was twisted into a symbol of shame. It is as if humanity was taught to fear the very river that connects body to spirit. Picture a world where the sunrise was called filthy, and you'll glimpse the absurdity of this deception. Yet millions lived and died under this shadow. Consider how this plays out in ordinary life. A teenage girl hiding her period products at school, blushing as if carrying a forbidden object, or a grown man recoiling at the word menstruation as though it were a curse. These are not small details. They are the fingerprints of a deep cultural hypnosis that has made people forget the holiness of what flows naturally. The illusion of inferiority was never random, it was crafted. Myths of Eve's fall, Lilith's rebellion, or witches consorting with demons were not about women, they were about power. By silencing the feminine, whole civilizations lost balance. The sacred tree was chopped at the roots, leaving only dry branches where once fruits of wisdom grew. And yet the truth cannot stay buried forever. The feminine is like water. Push it down and it seeps through the cracks. Deny it, and it rises as a flood. Even today, more and more are beginning to question, what if impurity was just a mask placed on sacredness? The question itself is a crack in the armor of centuries of conditioning. This illusion is only the beginning. For if the feminine was branded as inferior, what else was distorted? What deeper programming was planted into the collective mind, shaping how women see themselves and how men relate to the mystery of blood? The answer lies in the shadows we are about to step into. Control rarely arrives with chains. More often it comes as a story repeated so many times that it feels like truth. The programming of fear around blood, menstrual, maternal, ancestral, was one of the most successful tools of domination. It whispered, hide it, fear it, deny it. And so, entire generations bowed to an invisible altar of shame. Imagine the power of turning a woman's natural cycle into something to conceal. Suddenly, what was once a sacred rhythm became a burden, something to silence with pills, perfumes, and hushed conversations. Men forgot their first home, the womb. Women forgot their own inner temple. This is not biology erased, but spirituality amputated. Think of modern advertising. So many commercials teach girls to move, dress, and smile as if their cycles were dirty secrets. Products promise invisibility. No stain, no trace, no voice. That is not care. It is programming. It tells women their bodies must be controlled, sterilized, made palatable for the world. The language of the body became a language of shame. Men, too, were programmed. They were told that to respect women was to protect them, not to honor them. They were taught to see blood as danger, weakness, even disgust. How can one revere life if one recoils from its source? This fear did not make men stronger. It made them orphans, disconnected from the cosmic mother who pulses through every birth. And so, the cycles of nature themselves became threats. Menstruation was silenced, childbirth medicalized to the point of ritual loss, menopause treated as decay rather than initiation. This programming was never neutral. It was control. A society that fears blood is a society that forgets where life truly begins. But if fear was implanted, it can also be removed. Every spell has its unraveling, and every veil has its tear. The question is not whether the programming exists. We are living in its effects daily. The question is, what happens when we begin to honor the very thing they told us to hide? That answer leads us into the hidden wound. Where blood is not honored, emptiness grows. This emptiness shows up in ways most never notice. Women walking through their cycles with shame, men searching for the feminine outside themselves, and entire families disconnected from their roots. The wound is not only physical, it is spiritual. A silence in the soul where once there was song. Shame plants seeds of disconnection. A young woman learns to whisper about her period, hiding pads in her sleeve as if she carried contraband. A man avoids conversations about birth or menstruation, laughing awkwardly to cover discomfort. These moments seem small, but together they weave a tapestry of estrangement, from self, from others, from the earth. And in that estrangement grows guilt. Guilt for bleeding, guilt for desiring, guilt for being too much or not enough. Generations have inherited this silent burden, like a family heirloom no one wanted but everyone carried. To carry blood without reverence is to carry life itself as if it were a mistake. That is the hidden wound. It manifests in society's structure too. Consider how few spaces exist where women can speak openly about cycles, birth, or miscarriage. Silence has become tradition, as if the sacred could be erased simply by refusing to name it. This collective wound echoes in rising anxiety, disconnection from nature, and even the fear of intimacy itself. Yet, wounds also reveal truth. A scar is not only a mark of pain, but a reminder of survival. In this way, the disconnection itself points us back to what has been lost. The longing for something more, for deeper intimacy, for authentic spirituality, for a connection to earth, is the whisper of the blood calling us home. But what happens when we stop treating blood as a problem and begin to see it as a key? What if this very wound holds the doorway to a forgotten inheritance? To step into that truth is not to dwell on pain, but to reclaim what has always been ours. And this reclamation begins with remembering blood as sacred legacy. There comes a moment when the silence cracks, when the forgotten begins to whisper again. The blood, menstrual, maternal, ancestral, has always carried a code. Not a curse, but a signature of divinity woven into the fabric of the human body. It is less biology than it is prophecy, an inheritance too powerful to remain buried forever. Menstrual blood is not waste, it is creation's ink. It carries stem cells, renewal, potential. Science is only beginning to glimpse what ancient wisdom always knew. Birth blood, too, is holy, the threshold where spirit becomes flesh, where eternity breathes into time. Ancestral blood is memory itself, a lineage that hums beneath our skin, whispering, "Remember me." To call blood sacred is not metaphor, it is remembrance. Indigenous tribes across the Americas honored menstrual huts as temples, not prisons. In ancient Africa, red ochre painted the skin of priestesses as a mirror of the cosmic womb. In Celtic traditions, women's cycles were seen as gateways to prophecy. Everywhere once, blood was ceremony. Practical steps to reclaim this heritage begin simply. A woman can track her cycle not just for fertility, but as a spiritual map, marking the days of renewal, vision, release. A man can honor this by observing the cycles of the moon, planting seeds, fasting, or meditating in rhythm with earth. These are not small rituals, they are acts of remembrance. This return is not nostalgia, it is awakening. To reclaim blood as sacred is to reclaim the feminine as divine. It is to look at what was once feared and see a crown instead of a chain. And when one person honors this, the ripple spreads. The call to return is contagious, for truth resonates in the marrow. And yet, every return requires guides. Who holds the memory of these mysteries? Who preserved the fire while others slept? To walk deeper into this path, we must listen to the wisdom of those who were once called witches, but in truth were queens, oracles, and guardians of blood. Long before the word witch was spoken with fear, there were women who held the codes of the earth. They were the guardians of blood, fire, and prophecy. Priestesses who walked barefoot on stone floors, listening to the pulse of the moon within their own bodies. To their people, they were not dangerous. They were indispensable. Civilizations rose around these women. In Mesopotamia, temple priestesses carried rituals that ensured the fertility of the land. In Egypt, queens were not only rulers, but initiates of mysteries tied to the red flow of life. In the Celtic Isles, women gathered by the fire to read omens in the rhythm of their cycles. Their wisdom shaped nations. These guardians were not simply healers, but architects of consciousness. They taught men to honor the womb as the first temple. They taught women that their cycles were maps of power, not burdens. Communities trusted them to speak with the unseen, to align harvests, to protect warriors. They were dragon queens, bridges between heaven and earth. But fire, when misunderstood, is feared. Patriarchal systems could not control what they could not comprehend. And so the same women who once guided tribes were recast as witches, demons, heretics. Their blood wisdom was burned, their fire silenced. Yet, even ashes carry memory, and memory waits for the breath of return. We see hints of this wisdom resurfacing today. Midwives reclaiming the sacredness of birth, women's circles reviving the ancient art of gathering, even men sitting under the full moon, remembering that fire and blood are not enemies, but forces of life. The guardians may have been silenced, but their lineage still breathes. And if the forgotten wisdom is reawakening, then perhaps even the greatest taboo is not a wall, but a doorway. What if what was called unclean is actually the holiest of sacraments? To step into that truth, one must walk through the very portal of blood itself. The greatest secrets are often hidden behind the veil of taboo. What society rejects, mocks, or fears is usually where the sacred waits in disguise. Blood became the ultimate taboo, something to hide, sanitize, or erase. Yet in this rejection lies a paradox. The very substance declared unclean is the sacrament of life itself. To touch this taboo is to stand at the threshold of mystery. The ancients knew this well. They did not run from blood. They made it altar. Rituals of passage, from birth to battle to menstruation, were steeped in red. To modern eyes it seems strange, even uncomfortable. But to them it was the most honest offering, the essence of being alive. Think of how religions reframe this. The Eucharist in Christianity is wine as blood. In Judaism, blood seals covenant. In shamanic traditions, blood sacrifices opened gateways to the spirit world. Even when hidden, the truth persisted. Blood was never just liquid. It was a key, a signature of divine presence. In daily life, reclaiming this sacrament does not mean dramatic rituals. It can begin with simple reverence, a woman pausing during her cycle to light a candle and journal her visions. A man planting seeds in the earth during the new moon, remembering that all growth requires hidden sacrifice. These small acts make the invisible visible again. The power of taboo is that it forces confrontation. If one can honor what society rejects, one breaks the spell of fear. Suddenly, blood is no longer something to conceal, but something to understand. In its rhythm, one hears prophecy. In its flow, one feels connection. The forbidden becomes the doorway back to wholeness. And yet, a doorway must be walked through. To honor blood as sacrament is not only about rituals, but about presence. To sit with it, to listen to it, to allow it to speak. For what if blood is not just history, but scripture, written not on paper, but in the very body itself? To approach blood as sacred is to approach it as text, an unwritten scripture pulsing in rhythm with the cosmos. Each cycle, each flow, is like a verse whispered by the body to the soul. Yet most have never learned to read it. Presence becomes the key, for only by slowing down can the hidden words reveal themselves. Consider how often life pulls us into speed and distraction. Phones buzzing, deadlines looming, routines swallowing the day. In that noise, the body speaks but is ignored. A cramp is dulled with pills, exhaustion brushed aside with caffeine. Yet these are messages. They are the ink of the living scripture, calling us to pay attention. Practical presence can look simple, almost ordinary. A woman may sit in meditation during her bleeding days, journaling dreams that surface more vividly. A man may walk barefoot under the moon, syncing his breath with the tides. These acts appear small, but they awaken the subtle, the sense that life itself is speaking through blood, breath, and bone. The ancients read this scripture not with microscopes, but with intuition. They mapped prophecies through lunar phases, predicted harvests by the rhythms of womb and soil. Their presence was not passive, it was participatory. They knew the body was not separate from the cosmos, but a mirror of it, a living manuscript written in cycles. Presence demands courage too. To sit with blood without judgment is to undo centuries of programming. It means replacing shame with reverence, discomfort with curiosity, to witness the flow not as a problem but as prophecy. And in doing so, the individual no longer feels broken or unworthy, but initiated into an ancient lineage of wisdom. But presence leads to something even deeper, sovereignty. For when one learns to read their own body scripture, they no longer depend on external authorities to define their worth or their truth. And it is here that the crowns of the forgotten queens begin to gleam once more. When a woman begins to honor her blood, something shifts. The shame dissolves, and in its place rises authority, not the kind granted by others, but sovereignty embodied from within. She no longer asks permission to exist. She claims space as naturally as the moon claims the night sky. This is the return of the dragon queens. Sovereignty is not domination. It is alignment. It is knowing one's power without needing to diminish another's. A woman crowned in her blood wisdom walks differently. Her presence changes rooms. Her voice carries weight without shouting. And when men witness this, they too remember their role, not as rulers over life, but as guardians of it. This energetic sovereignty is visible in everyday choices. A woman refusing to apologize for her emotions, trusting them as compass instead of curse. A man choosing to support rather than suppress, planting trees instead of exploiting land, honoring cycles instead of fighting them. These are not trends. They are the embodiment of a deeper royalty. The image of the dragon is no accident. Dragons guard treasure, breathe fire, and soar between realms. To reclaim the bloodline of the dragon is to embody this archetype. Fierce yet wise, fiery yet protective, vast yet rooted. This is sovereignty not as crown of gold, but as crown of flame and earth. And sovereignty is contagious. When one person reclaims it, others feel the spark. It is the kind of leadership that awakens, not commands. It spreads not through rules, but through resonance. The world has long been starved of such examples, but they are returning now. One cycle, one choice, one awakening at a time. But the story does not end with the crown. For every queen and guardian must face the revelation of what their blood truly carries. This is more than empowerment. It is initiation into a lineage that stretches back to the stars. And soon, the prophecy of the dragon bloodline is revealed. This blood that pulses within you is not fragile. It is not weak. It is the same current that moved through the veins of priestesses who read the stars, warriors who spoke with fire, and healers who carried the secrets of the earth. To feel it is to remember that you are not ordinary. You are heir to a cosmic lineage. The dragon bloodline is not about fantasy. It is archetype. Dragons across cultures symbolize guardianship of wisdom, treasures of spirit, and the fire of transformation. To recognize your blood as dragon blood is to realize you carry within you both the fire that destroys illusions and the power that births new worlds. It is awakening, embodied. Look at history. Myths of serpent goddesses in Mesoamerica, dragon queens of Asia, and the feathered serpents of Celtic lore. These were not coincidences. They were echoes of the same truth. Humanity has always sensed a bloodline that binds heaven and earth, feminine and masculine, fire and water. That bloodline beats within you now, and the revelation is not abstract, it is practical. To honor your dragon blood is to live with courage where fear once ruled. It is to speak truth where silence was demanded. It is to transform shame into sovereignty. Every time you choose presence over programming, reverence over rejection, you awaken the dragon within. This climax is less about arrival than recognition. Nothing new is being given. It was never lost. The dragon blood slept, waiting for the right moment, the right question, the right remembrance. And now in this very age, amidst the chaos and noise of the world, the prophecy stirs awake. The inheritance cannot be denied. But a revelation always asks for embodiment. To know your blood is prophecy is one thing. To live it is another. And so the story must close as it began, with ceremony. For in the end, the blood is not just memory, it is destiny. And that destiny whispers, your blood is prophecy. Your blood is not shame, it is prophecy. Every drop carries the memory of ancestors who walked before you and the whispers of generations yet to come. To deny it is to silence the cosmos within you. To honor it is to step into the circle of eternity, where past, present, and future converge. Hear this truth. Your blood is altar. It is the wine of your body, poured not in temples built of stone, but in the sacred vessel of flesh and spirit. When you hide it, the temple dims. When you honor it, the temple burns with light. You are priest, priestess, and offering all at once. The dragon lineage is not a myth locked in books. It breathes in you. It roars when you reclaim your cycles. It unfurls its wings when you refuse to bow to shame. The crown it offers is not made of jewels, but of fire, presence, and remembrance. You do not earn it. You remember it. So let this be your ceremony. Light a candle. Whisper gratitude to the blood that shaped you. Journal the visions that come, or walk beneath the moon with bare feet and open heart. Every act of remembrance is a thread woven back into the great tapestry of prophecy, and as you remember, you awaken others. When one queen rises, the others hear the call. When one guardian honors the blood, the earth sighs in relief. This is not personal. It is collective. The lineage of the dragon awakens not in one body, but in many, roaring across time. So now I leave you with the question, what has your blood been trying to tell you? Listen, honor, reclaim, and when the answer comes, share it. For your voice may be the spark that awakens another. The prophecy has always lived in you. It only waited for this moment to be remembered. I invite you to share your voice below. What insight did this awaken in you? Write it, for your words may be the key someone else is waiting for. Like, share, and subscribe, not as routine clicks, but as a vow to keep walking this path of remembrance together. The lineage of the dragon is awakening. It is calling your name. And every time you choose to listen, you fan the flame of a prophecy that cannot be silenced. To understand more about subjects related to cosmic rays, esotericism, theosophy, and advanced spirituality, and access knowledge little known by the general public, access the link in the first pinned comment and discover the ebook, What Are Cosmic Rays, written by Bathajal.